we need to look at what we as parents, teachers, and elders can do for our kids. The first thing that we need to do is to help them identify their talent. Each child, each human being is born with a distinct gift, a special talent, something unique that they bring to the world. Now, if you tell them to focus on only academics and you judge them based on their performance in academics, it is like judging a fish by its capacity to climb a tree. How will a fish climb a tree? Similarly, all kids cannot excel in academics. So help them identify their talent, and then you will see a terrific difference in them, a miraculous change in them. They will be inspired, they'll be motivated, they'll wake up excited that they have one more day to pursue their passion. And for that, we must first identify our passion. How many of us wake up excited, enthusiastic, happy that we have one more day to do what we were born to do? Everyone? Very good. So, next, there are three basic principles of life that we need to cultivate within us and in our children. Incidentally, we don't need to give lectures to our children for the simple reason that they don't listen to us. Have you noticed? The moment you open your mouth, they have shut their ears, they're not listening. But they watch carefully how you live life, how you respond to people, how you react, whether you're a helpful person, a selfish person, a loving person, or a hateful person, and they follow in your footsteps. So, you have to be very careful because you are an unconscious, and perhaps you don't know that you are a role model for your kids. So if you don't want your children to do something, you must first live it and not talk. Don't give lectures. So these three principles that we're talking about, if you want your children to live them, you must first live them. What is the first principle? We all act. The question is, do we act with the attitude of giving or taking? You work. Do you work for profit or do you work to offer your talent to others? Do you act to give or to take? On this depends whether you're going to be successful or not. The moment you develop the attitude of giving, you become creative, you become enthusiastic, you become energetic, and you excel in your work. So you achieve success. Second, all givers are happy. If you want to know what this is, go to a kindergarten class and watch the kids. One little 3-year-old will come and tell her friend, "My father got this from London. You want? Take it. It's delicious." When she's giving her friend the chocolate, watch the expression on her face. She's beaming, she's happy, she's smiling. Another child says, "No, it's mine." Watch the expression on the face. There's a frown on the child's face. And this is what happens to us. Entertain the thought of taking, that moment you are miserable. Just think of giving. You don't even have to give anything, just think of giving. And your mind is filled with happiness. And the third very important thing is you grow into a towering personality when you develop the attitude of giving. Because remember one thing, you cannot achieve greatness with a small mind. If you want to achieve greatness, you must expand your mind. I'll give you a real life example. There were, the company Beats, which makes earphones in California. They absolutely admired Steve Jobs and they were friends of his. So they went to Steve Jobs one day and said, "You are an amazing combination of aesthetics, because every Apple product is good looking, technology, and a good business head. We need more people like you. How do you get the three together? Because they never seem to coincide in one person." So Steve Jobs said, very simple, start a course in a university. So they went to the University of Southern California. This is a true story. In 2014, there were two partners. Each of them gave $35 million to that university to start this course. And I know someone's child who had enrolled in the very first course. So they gave that and the course started. Within months, their company Beats was acquired by Apple, and each of them got $1.5 billion. Huh? Now you calculate the return percentage. They gave $35 million and they got $1.5 billion in a matter of a few months. This is the miraculous result that comes from giving. Now please don't give 100 rupees and expect returns. It doesn't happen that way. It must be heartfelt. It is not the money that you're giving, you're giving your heart and soul. Next, we are all strongly entrenched in feelings of separation. Who do you feel one with? This circle of oneness is shrinking day by day. In India, in the past, there used to be 35, 40 members of a family who lived together under one roof, and the key word here is harmoniously. Today, two people can't get along. Husband and wife can't get along. So, this feeling of separateness is what is causing conflict, tension, stress, war and bloodshed in the world. Yet, we come from a culture, when we pray, when the Indian prays, the Indian does not pray only for, "Oh God, please look after me and my children," not even spouse. What do we say? Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Let everyone in the world be happy. We say the whole universe is one family. So this is our culture. Yet, in our country, like in no other country, there is tremendous diversity. Every 100 kilometers you travel in our country, anywhere, north, south, east, west, the food changes slightly, custom change, the way they dress changes, everything changes. Yet, there is an overwhelming feeling that we are all Indian. Is that not true? And life becomes so interesting. You go to America, whichever city you go to, it's all the same. The same buildings, the same architecture, the same McDonald's, the same, pizzas, the same KFC. There's no variety there. But you come to India, it's such fun. You go to Gujarat, it's different. You go to Bengal, it's a different country altogether. South India is different, North India is different, and that is what adds excitement to our lives. That oneness, the Vedas say there is only one. If you see a second, it's your delusion. And yet, why is it that we see separateness? Let's take the help of physics. When you pass a ray of white light through a prism, what do you see? 7 distinct and different colors. But you see the 7 colors, and because you understand physics, you know they emerge from that one ray of white light. Similarly, friends, we are looking at the world through the prism of our physical preferences. You like fair people, you don't like dark people. You like thin people, you don't like fat people, so on and so forth. You love your mother, you hate your mother-in-law. And intellectual prejudices. Because of that, you see separateness. And you want to impose uniformity. The person you deal with must think like you, must dress like you, must feel like you. What kind of imposition is this? Look at nature. No 2 peacocks are alike, no 2 parrots are alike. Yet, there is perfect harmony in nature. Isn't there? There is no war and destruction in nature. And yet we say, when someone is behaving badly, you say you're behaving like an animal. Animals must be looking at us and say, hey, these guys, they are much worse than animals. So now, how do you see oneness? This is very, very important in life. Because where you see oneness, you build fantastic teams. You see the best in everybody. When you think of your child, you love your child, right? What do you think of? Do you think, oh, this child plays football and comes home with dirty clothes and he spreads these dirty clothes around? Do you think of your son like that? No. When you think of your son, you say, I love my son. He's so cute. But when you think of your neighbor's son, what do you say? Spoiled brat. Why? Not because he may be spoiled, but why are you seeing faults in them? Because you don't feel one with the neighbor's child. You feel one with your child. Your child can commit 100 mistakes, you will not see that. So, when you feel one with people, wonderful results come from that. You know, when my generation, when we were kids, when the holidays came, summer vacations, we did not go to Switzerland and Turkey for vacations. Where did we go? Grandparents' house. And the highlight of our summer vacations was papad making. So the ladies of the family, the community, 15, 20 ladies would get together, and that laborious task of making papad would be conducted in an environment of fun, laughter, cheer, good nature teasing among them, and everyone would be included, kids also, because they had the very important task of taking the papad to the terrace, drying it and bringing it back. They were fun days. But when that oneness, togetherness stopped, papad making stopped, and now you buy papad from the store, which are not half as tasty. So, oneness makes for wonderful teams, and you achieve miraculous results. When you feel one with a larger group, your happiness multiplies. I travel a lot. I often tell our American friends, no, we in India have a distinct advantage. When you feel one with the country, your happiness increases how many times? 300 million times? Whatever the population of America is. But when you and I feel one with the country, what happens? our happiness increases 1.4 billion times. Any Indian, anywhere in the world does well, you celebrate as if it was your achievement. Nelson Mandela, when he was president of South Africa, one morning he went for a walk and his security guard accompanied him naturally. So he was making pleasant conversation with him. He asked him, "How's your family?" The guard turned around and said, "Very well, Mr. President, and how is your family?" He stopped, turned, looked at the guard and said, "I have a very large family. My family consists of 42 million people." Huh? What do you think of a guy who genuinely feels that the entire population of the country is his family? That is what gives you power. What gave Mahatma Gandhi power? He had nothing. He had no money. He had no ammunition. He had no political power. Yet, everybody listened to him. How? Because he felt one with the entire country. If you feel one with the country, you will gain the same power. So you're happy and you grow. You grow into a wonderful leader. And the third is, when you achieve success, whatever happens in your life, you must remember one thing, that everything in the world passes. It's ephemeral, it's temporary. Nothing is permanent in the world. So when good things come, you must understand, they will go, bad times will come. When bad times came, when COVID came, we were all depressed. What happened? It passed. There's a beautiful poem called "Even This Will Pass Away." It's taught to children. But I strongly recommend you do a Google search and read it and learn something from it. So it describes a king in Persia. It says, "Once in Persia reigned a king who upon a signet ring carved a maxim strange and wise. When held before his eyes, gave him counsel at a glance, fit for every change and chance. Solemn words, and these were they, even this will pass away." So he has a signet ring on which is written, "Even this will pass away." Then the poet goes on to describe his experiences. "Meet the pleasures of his court, when the palms of all his guests burned with clapping at his jest." You know, when you're rich and famous, anything foolish you say also people will clap. Said the king, he enjoyed it, no doubt. But he said, "Pleasure comes, but not to stay. Even this will pass away." He becomes rich. Trains of camel through the sand brought him gems from Samarkand. Fleets of galleys o'er the seas brought him pearls to rival these. But he counted little gain, treasures of the mine or main. He became wealthy, he earned the wealth. But he said, "What is wealth?" the king would say, "Even this will pass away." Then he gets married. When a king like that gets married, who will he get married to? The most beautiful woman in the world. But he told himself, mortal flesh is only clay, even this will pass away. Then he gets injured in battle. And when his soldiers carry him back, he says, "Pain is hard to bear, but with patience day by day, even this will pass away." Then he becomes famous. And they make a statue of him. 40 cubits in the air. There's a pun on "in the air." All fame is in the air. Hawa. And the king goes there disguised, unknown, and gazed upon his sculptured name. "What is fame?" the king said to himself. "Fame is but a slow decay. Even this will pass away." When you're not famous, like me and you, when we die, what will happen? Maximum 12 days people will remember you. After that, back to normal. When a famous person dies, He will be remembered for 50 years like Gandhiji, we are remembering him. But very soon, that will also go. And for that, you give an arm and a leg. We want our photograph to appear in the papers. We want our interview to come on TV. We want social media followers and likes and so on and so forth. For what? When you live life like this, you earn the world, you enjoy the world, but never forget that everything in the world passes. Then, what will happen is what happened to the king. Struck with palsy, sore and old, waiting at the gates of gold, said he with his dying breath, life is done, but what is death? And as answer to the king fell a sunbeam on his ring, showing by a heavenly ray, even this will pass away. And friends, if you develop this inner strength to bear with life's circumstances, life's challenges, whatever the world throws at you, you have the strength to bear with it. By God, you'll be an outstanding person. What is the use of becoming the richest guy in the world if you're fragile? That is what is happening nowadays. All the rich and famous people, inside they are like jelly. Fragile. Slightest thing happens, they get upset, agitated, stressed out, they can't sleep, they need to take sleeping pills. You have to decide, do I want to live my life like this, or do I want to gain inner enrichment? And when you gain inner enrichment, the wealth of the world will come to you. In our country, we had the concept of Raja Rishis. They were Rajas, they were men and women of immense wealth and clout externally. But this external wealth came from inner enrichment. By building your character and your strength. Today, there is no focus whatsoever on inner enrichment. There is no focus on the attitude of giving. We bring up our children saying, get good marks. Why? So that you may get admission to a good college. Do well in the university. Why? So that you may get a good job or you may make profits. Why? So that you may earn a lot of money for yourself. How many of us bring up our children to say, do well, my son, my daughter, so that you may serve the world? And that will make a big difference to the child. We are pressurizing the child. We are taking away the happiness of childhood from the child right from a young age. Have you done your sum? By the time this child has come home tired from school, the mother gets after the child. Have you done your homework? Whatever little happiness that poor child has is gone, wiped out. Why? Because you want to live your ambitions vicariously through your children? You want your child to get 99%. Ask yourself, how much did you get? You barely passed. And if your child gets more than that, be happy, be grateful. Don't pressurize the child. You have no right to take away the happiness of the child. Dr. Abdul Kalam, our former president, when he was president, he had invited me to Rashtrapati Bhavan. And he said something amazing to me, which I remember till this day. He said, I am going to retire very soon as president, and I'm really looking forward to it because I want to dedicate the rest of my life to bringing back the smile on the faces of our children. He said, children are born happy, but we adults wipe that smile off their faces. I want to bring that smile back onto their faces. So your only duty in life is to be happy yourself and to pass on that happiness to your children, to your family members. If you are stressing them out, you are not fulfilling your primary duty as a parent. So don't pressurize children to get good marks. for the simple reason that the most successful people in the world have been school dropouts. Now, I'm not suggesting you should drop out. But what I'm saying is, yes, we must encourage the children to do their best. But if their best is not 99%, it's okay. Everyone can't be 99%. Huh? Everyone can't be good in math, science. There are other talents. There are children who are good in art. There are children who are good in music. There are children who are good in different fields. Encourage them to be their best in whatever they were born to do. Don't try and live your ambitions through your children. That is a grave injustice that we will be doing to the kids. So this doesn't mean that you just allow them to do what they want. It's not that. It's a balance. It's understanding. You know, when you say you love your child, you must understand the child. You must understand what the child is going through. You must make the child feel free to discuss things with you, to open his heart out to you. Does that happen? You need to ask yourself that. So friends, as parents, as teachers, we have a great responsibility because we are shaping the next generation. We are the creators of the nation in the next generation. And therefore, you need to think very carefully how you deal with the child. The child is like a sapling. And that sapling can be molded to grow into a towering personality, to achieve excellence, or that sapling can be throttled and destroyed. We need to make sure that we encourage the child. Our role is that of a gardener. You know what the gardener does? He plants the seed and provides the right environment for the seed to flourish. And the rest is done by nature. Similarly, our duty is to provide the right environment for the child to grow into whatever he was designed to grow into. See, an apple seed can only grow into an apple tree. An apple seed can't become a mango tree just because you want it to. So, accept and fall in line with nature. Provide that apple seed with what is best for the apple seed. Provide the mango seed with what is best for the mango seed. And then you will see them flourish, both of them. And this is our culture. So, remember the 3 principles. Give, don't take. Love, don't hate. And understand that the world is impermanent, and in and through this impermanent world, look for the permanent. So with this, I leave you to continue with the next program that you have. Enjoy it. Thank you.